Hello, welcome to the Millionaire Woman Show, where we'll be discussing leadership, business, and human potential, inspiring you to live rich from the inside out. Unlock your creativity, stretch out of your comfort zone, break through your barriers, take inspired action, and achieve epic results. Now, here's your host, two-time best-selling author, speaker, and certified executive coach, Deborah Kosowski.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Millionaire Woman Show, where we talk about leadership, business, and human potential. I am super excited to share with you our guest today. Born with cerebral palsy, Wynn Charles has defied the odds of becoming an author. Her memoir, Wynn, is an amazing story of how she remembers her life through the years of having the condition called CP. As a competitor in the Kona Ironman Triathlon, CEO of her own jewelry design company, motivational speaker, Wynn Charles truly is an inspiration to many. Today, Wynn Charles tours the country speaking to schools and institutions to raise awareness about cerebral palsy and living a life no matter what holds you back. She is also an advocate of veterans across the world. And you can show your support by signing up for her newsletter, which she'll tell you a little bit more about later on in this podcast. Just stay tuned on updated news releases and appearances, and you can find her on Facebook, Twitter, websites, and Wynn's Custom Jewelry and Art. And I am so excited to have you. And Wynn, I'm a triathlete too, so we do have very much in common.
Oh God, I didn't realize that you did triathletes.
I do, but not as big as yours.
Well, yes, but thank you, Deborah, for having me on. The first thing I wanted to say is cerebral palsy is a traumatic brain injury. Kids get it at birth. It's not contagious. It's not hereditary. You can't pass it on to your kids. And so I just wanted to say that cerebral palsy is a lack of oxygen at birth, and that's how I got cerebral palsy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, you've defied many odds, so I'm really curious, what drives you to share your message?
Well, when you actually sent me that question before this interview this morning, I thought about it, and I have never been asked that before, what really drives me to share my message. And what really drives me to share my message is to teach people about disabilities, especially the able-bodied population, because the able-bodied population doesn't understand the use of a wheelchair and a walker, let alone what cerebral palsy is. They just see me walking my walker and as if I had no brain whatsoever. And I say that, I know the audience thinks, well, that's sad, but people judge a book by its cover all the time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that's part of what drives you, is helping people change those perceptions.
Yes.
So one of the things about judgment, and this is something that I like to talk about even in my book that's coming out here soon, it's about being curious before we make judgments so that we can ask the right questions. Because you've done some pretty phenomenal things. And for people who, because you have a wheelchair, because you have a walker, it doesn't define what you're capable of. So I see you very much as a leader. But what is your definition of a leader?
My definition of a leader is someone that breaks barriers and breaks the glass ceiling and breaks barriers.
That's very cool. And it is about breaking those barriers. So when it talks about breaking barriers, what does ability mean to you when it comes to barriers?
Ability means to me when it comes to barriers. Well, ability means to me that you can work with anyone in any circumstance, and when it comes to breaking barriers, all you guys have to do is get out there and show the world that you can.
Yeah. And, it's about showing people you can. What do you tell somebody when they tell you, you know what, when it was great for you to do it, but I really don't think I can?
Yeah. That is the trickiest question in the world, but I'll answer it this way. I say if you don't succeed, try again. And if you can't succeed at a podcast, then try a different way.
Yeah, it's just about finding a different route to the same destination, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so many people got hung up on that there's only one way to get somewhere. And what we need to realize is if something's not working, it just means you need to tweak your path and shift your focus on where you're going. And you can achieve so much more if you just keep going. I read a book called The Small Business, and it was by Sam. Oh, I can't remember offhand. But they had an analogy in the book about one of those wind-up toys that would hit a wall. And it would keep hitting the wall until it would back up and finally go a different direction to an opening so that it could go right through. So if we think of ourselves as that kind of wind-up toy that, you might hit the wall a couple times that it didn't work, that you can shift, back up, change gears, and be able to go in a different direction to find that opening of opportunity.
Yes.
How can people start seeing the ability in the disability, for example, with CP or any other disabilities?
When you asked me that question previously, I thought about that, and that's a really difficult question, I say, because some people are not open to talking about their disabilities, others are. So what you have to do is break the ice with the disabled person. And that could be a tricky one because say if the person was non-verbal, well, obviously they're going to have an aide standing next to them. And so that is a really tricky one because all you have to do is ask, but yet you don't want to impose if they don't want to talk about their disability.
Mm-hmm. Because the subject isn't necessarily just talking about the disability, it's really talking about your capabilities and what you're able to do. And, when I think about the triathlon, especially an Ironman, how about tell us a little bit more about what that experience was like for you? Oh, Win, your sound. Just one moment. Oh, I need you to go back to the start of that question when we didn't hear you.
I was going to say, I don't know if you guys know Gordon Ramsay from Iron Hell's Kitchen, but he was the celebrity triathlete when the year I did the Kona Ironman. And that experience was one of the most challenging yet exciting experiences in my life, because what I got to do was what the typical triathlete does for the disabled triathlete is amazing feat in itself. They pull the disabled triathlete with their own body weight, thank you very much,
Wow.
in a boat. And so I don't know how these able-bodied triathletes do it. And because the disabled triathlete has to sit in that boat, I don't know how these able-bodied triathletes do it. I mean, they can't even see because they have the weight of the boat on their back. And I don't know if you guys know Rick and Dick Hoyt. Rick and Dick Hoyt. Rick is 70. The son, no, Rick is 30, the son, and Dick is 70 years old. They started doing the Boston Marathon when Rick was 10 years old. And now they are ultra famous triathletes doing this. And I can't imagine doing this at Dick's age. I just can't. Because as the body gets older, you lose muscle. And as you know, Deb, you would have to train or get out for a triathlon.
Yeah. So let me get this straight. So you were in a boat for that full swim, because that's a
Yes.
long distance swim in the ocean.
Yes.
So then you, from the swim, they went to the bike. So was there like a trailer behind their bike, or
Yes.
what did you do?
Yes. There was a trailer behind the bike. And unfortunately, we didn't make it to the run part. We got taken down by timing, and then we got taken down by the elements. Because Kona is only Olympic distance, but the reason why they make such a big deal out of it is that because of where it's placed. I mean, you're staring at lava for 8 hours.
Yeah.
You're staring at lava, and they have told people, if you go off course, now granted, this is able-bodied people, if you go off course and you become delusional, please come find us so we don't have to come finding you.
Right. So that's pretty incredible. So you have somebody having that boat kind of strapped to them in that swim, pulling your boat.
Yeah.
Wow. That's phenomenal. And I'm just going to, and only because I've done 2 Olympic distance triathlon, it's not only an Olympic distance. It's a big deal for those people who are thinking about doing a triathlon, haven't, maybe got off the couch. It is a big deal to participate in a triathlon, even a try. It takes a lot of determination and dedication. And when I applaud you for that, is a huge feat to be a part of, and just to be in that energy and space of all of those athletes with you. That's phenomenal. So I really do applaud you for taking on that challenge, because there's a lot of mental headspace. You're putting your trust in someone else when you're in that ocean. So
Yes.
Good for you. So who is your hero? Someone who has seen your gifts.
My hero, and I apologize for my coughing attack. My hero is, well, I have a lot of heroes, but I would say number one, my mom, who I wrote my book after, and after she died. And then I would say I get to, man, this is a lot of one. It's 7 o'clock in the morning too. So I guess I would say all the people that I interview over the years because they have heard stories in themselves. So I guess number one would be my mom. Number two would be my colleagues at work. I actually do have a day job, which I don't really get to talk about on my podcast because it's an education and because we're bound by too many rules. So I'm slowly but surely stepping away from education to get a journalism degree, even though I'll be in education until the day I die. But having that backup degree would help me transition out of education easier.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So what would you recommend to people who feel discouraged when they're going after their goals, not sure what they maybe want to do, or like they've hit the wall a couple times and what they're doing isn't working? What would you say to them?
Ask for help.
Yeah. That's a big ask. And, you know, people are afraid.
Help. And God, ask for help. That would be the easiest way.
And what has asking for help helped you get?
Oh, geez. Well, geez. It's helped me get through a Kona Ironman asking for help. And then it's helped me get incredible people on my podcast.
That's pretty amazing. So I just want to let you tell us a little bit more about your jewelry, your podcast, and how people can stay in touch with you.
Okay. Say the last, I heard the podcast, but I didn't hear the first question.
Okay, so how can people stay in touch with you, Win, and learn about your jewelry, your podcast? Tell us a little bit more.
My jewelry and art, which I don't do anymore, I should do. That's floating around somewhere. And so they can just Google my name, W-I-N, Win, and yes, that is my legal name. And they can just Google Win Kelly Charles, C-H-A-R-L-E-S, Kelly, K-E-L-L-Y. So it's Win Kelly Charles. And they can just Google my name, find all this stuff about me, or they could just, if you hyperlink my website in the show notes, the podcast, the jewelry, the you name it is all hooked up. The podcast could be found in iTunes. It could be found on Stitcher. It could be found wherever podcasting app is. And I know on the PC side, you guys have Androids. Well, they have Stitcher. My podcast is in Stitcher. My podcast on the Apple side is in iTunes.
Tell everybody again what the name of your podcast is.
Butterflies of Wisdom. So if you go search, if you click on magnifying glass in iTunes and type in Butterflies of Wisdom, it will pop up.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Win, for this phenomenal interview. And I know that you have inspired everyone out there against all odds to really look at what's going on in their world. And, you know, instead of just looking at one way of getting to get what they want, that you continuously need to persevere. Those opportunities will open up. You just need to keep finding the right route for you. So thank you so much for coming on our show.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, that's a wrap, everyone. It's so great to have you on the Millionaire Woman Show listening to this podcast. We publish twice a week, every Tuesday and Thursday. We have interviews on Tuesday, and Thursday is usually a message from me. I want to thank you for joining us. Make sure you go on to iTunes. Share this podcast with other people because you never know life might transform. And by doing so, you can help people make the changes, step into the leadership, business, and human potential of what they're capable of versus what they're thinking that they can't do. So if we have more people sharing and encouraging people, we will be able to make those changes in the world. Go to iTunes, write us a review, give us a 5-star high five. We would love to hear from you. You can email me at deborah@deborahkozowski.com. And we'd also love for you to sign up for our Success Secrets newsletter on our website. So go over to www.deborahkozowski.com. And don't forget the book, Let's Be Curious, How to Ask the Right Questions, Get Better Answers to Make the Best Decision, will be coming out in September 2017. So let's be curious.ca to learn more. Take care, everyone. As Muhammad Gandhi said, be the change you wish to see in the world. And that's it. Make today great. Take care, everyone.